Hey, I'm Courtney Hicks. I'm getting ready to go to NHK this coming week.
How did you get started in skating?
So basically, like I was reading, so like in Chino Hills where I'm from, they give out like a little community like activities thing, like a little booklet every couple months, whatever. And I guess I was like looking through it one day, and I was like, "Oh, mom, like I want to try figure skating. Like that looks fun." And she's like, "No, no, no, no. Like Courtney, that's cold. Like you're gonna be uncomfortable. It's cold. Like no, let's try other stuff." So I did like few other little like sports. Like I did like ballet. I did gymnastics. I think I did tap dancing. And I think I did ballet again. And then I was like, "Mom, like then another book. Like we got another one sometime later." And I was like, "Mom, like I want to try figure skating." And she's like, "Fine, fine. Like we'll take you skating. Fine, we'll try it." And then I went and I did like the classes, and yeah, never looked back.
When you were young, who were some of your role models that you looked up to in skating?
I was always a really big fan of Michelle Kwan. She was like the big one for me. Like I always like loved her skating. I also loved like how she like presented herself, and like she just seemed like a really like for me she always just seemed like a really good person to try to emulate.
This season, you're training with Cory Ate in Colorado Springs. She's the former coach of
Yes.
Jason Brown up until this season.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest differences in training habits and the learning process that you've noticed compared to previously in your career?
So really right now we're working on like specific techniques to get my jump so that it's not like me jumping because I can jump and it just comes naturally. It's me actually figuring out like how to jump correctly, I guess is the big thing. Like we're doing more exercises for my jumps, and we're doing like small little tweaks on them just to make them more consistent so I don't like sometimes have like these giant beautiful perfect jumps but then like the next day I can't do it again because it's like, well, it felt good that day and it was really good, but now I'm like a little sore or something, and so it's not working the same. So yeah, we're just really working on making everything the same.
In Colorado Springs, you're training in altitude. Do you have any
Mhm.
difficulties with that, or does it not really bother you?
I mean, so the first like month was really rough. Like I felt it. Like I'd get on the ice and I'd do like my little like stroking lap. I'm like, oh, I'm dying. This is bad. But no, now like I'm pretty much okay. Like obviously like a long program, like you still feel it at the end. It never really like goes away, but you cope with it better. And then like every time if I like I'll go to a competition, I'll come back. And like those first like 3 days, I'm like, wow, me being used to this really went away fast. So yeah, every single time it's interesting.
In the past, you worked with now 89-year-old John Nix. Some of his
Yeah.
former students include Peggy Fleming, Christy Yamaguchi, Sasha Cohen, some of the greatest skaters of all time.
Yeah.
What was it like working with him? And is there anything specifically that you remember that he taught you that kind of sticks with you?
So Mr. Nix is like one of my favorite people ever, just because like he's so like blunt and direct, and but like it's also really nice because he does like when you're doing well, like he will tell you you're doing well, and then like like, oh, I am really truly doing well because Mr. Nix said so. But no, he's just like he's so big on like presentation and like how everything looks, how like jump landings look, just really how you carry yourself on the ice. Like that was his really big focus. Like even for me, like not even like when I was working with him as like my main coach, he wasn't like as concerned about the jumps. He was concerned about how was I coming out of the jumps, how was I going into the jumps, like how just like stuff like that to make it look nice. And yeah, it was just I guess that's kind of the thing that sticks with me most is like his so he always had like a very big thing on like heads on landings, and so I've always tried like that's something that I always continue to try to think of on my landings is like the head and the arms, and like you look in like a specific spot when you land, like just small things like that.
As you mentioned, you were returning to NHK Trophy this weekend. You won a silver medal at this event in 2015.
Yeah.
First of all, what is it like to skate in Japan where all of the fans are so knowledgeable? I mean, I think they could give you basically a biography of your career on the
Yeah.
spot, and they're supportive of everybody. So what is it like to actually be able to skate there?
It's really like it's truly one of the like best places that I think you could probably skate because the fans do know so much and they're so kind and they're so supportive. Like it doesn't even matter like whether you're from Japan or like even like American, like no matter where you're from, like they just love figure skating. So it's really nice to skate there and just like, you can feel that they're enjoying your performance and they're enjoying like watching skating and they're enjoying being there. And it's really like rewarding to skate there. Yeah.
Do you have any specific goals for this event? We haven't seen you a lot this year. You skated in one competition in September. So
right.
This is basically the start to your season. So do you have any goals? And then for nationals, what are your goals?
Yeah. So here, really working on showing like how we've been improving my techniques. So like my jumps are straighter, they're more controlled. And so we really like want to go through these programs showing that everything is quality. Like it's not just like Cory will use a lot like survival mode where like I can go and I can just like, I can get it done and I can do like a lot of the things kind of like however, and I can do them. But we've been working a lot on making them so that it's pretty every time and it's the same every time. So I really just want to show that at this competition. Like nationals also is I want to go and show just how much I've improved my jumps, how much I've improved my skating. Because like sometimes even still I think at competitions, like I think I did really well in Utah too with this, but like I'll still sometimes have a tendency where I want to go back to my old habits because it's like I don't quite trust the technique yet. So it's like I really want to go to nationals and just show that my jumps have improved, that they're under control, that I actually know what I'm doing, stuff like that. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the programs that you have this season. First, the short program is called I Found by Amber Run. Speak a little bit about the story behind the music and how you came across this piece.
So I actually found the music kind of just like through Spotify, like going, like it would, like, you know how they have like the radio or whatever, so it would like play more songs. And so I found that and I really liked the song. So it's been one of my favorite songs for probably about a year. And like, I've always like thought of like, oh, this would be like a really good show program, like all of that. And then this year, like during Broadmoor, how they had the Pikey Fleming Trophy, I was like, oh, I can skate to this because it's like a very dramatic piece. It's really like intense. And I really skate well to that. So I was like, oh, this is my chance. Like I can use it for my show program this year. This is going to be great. And so I used it and it was really good. And Jordan Moeller choreographed it. And like everyone loved it. And then I was like, oh, what if I use this as my short? Because I had gone back to my old short from last year. And like, I really loved that program. But I was like, I don't want to have this for another full year. Like, I don't want to like feel burned out on it by nationals. Like, you know, that's never somewhere that you want to end up. So I was like kind of floating the idea to Cory, and she's like, okay, like Champs Camp will show them, like you'll do the original short in like the competition simulation. And then afterwards, like you can show some of the judges this program and see what they say. So like we showed them and they loved it. And they're like, oh my gosh, you connect to this music so well, like all of these things. And I was like, Cory, like I got to use it. I got to use it as a short. So we re-choreographed it for a short program. And it's so good and it's so fun.
The free skate, on the other hand, is much more traditional. It's from the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Tell us about the choreographic process behind that program and what you envision with the performance.
Yes. So this one was actually really interesting. So Roheen did this program, and originally my free skate was actually a tango. And like eventually it was like it was like back in June or July, and it was like right before I was doing like a little like a smaller competition, and we were just like, this program, like this music's not working, like it's too long, and like the beginning it wasn't working. And so Cory was like, what's something you want to skate to? And I was like, I want to skate to the Nutcracker. Like I've loved this music for like 4 years. I've been wanting to skate to it for forever. And so she was like, oh, perfect, like I love that music, like let's go. And so we cut it, so like it all worked out. And then it's just such powerful music. And like I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, people will go for like the really pretty route, and it's like it doesn't have to be, because it's beautiful music, but it's very strong music. And so I feel like it lends itself really well to how fast I can skate and how like big my jumps are. And then it's a lot of fun to go through it, and just like you hit the notes and you're just like, wow, this feels so good.
Speaking about the jumps, you've favored including a triple loop on the end of your combinations. Is that your favorite and or easiest jump?
So the whole thing, I actually used to do flip toes for a really long time. And that was like pretty okay for a long time. Like I'm not the biggest fan of toes, which is why we ended up putting it onto the flip toe. Because I was like, oh, I have a really pretty plain loop. We'll do the loop plain. We'll put the toe loop on the flip. And then a couple years ago, I think it was 2017. So throughout like the year, I had done a couple things to my left knee. So like first I had like hyperextended it a little bit, like not that bad. And like I did that twice. And then like I was still fine. Like I was still able to do toe loop combos. And then in December of 2017, I actually dislocated my left kneecap. And so that took like a lot of like recovery from that. And after that, toe loops were like really dangerous for me because if it wasn't a perfect tap, like my knee would kind of like it would slide a little bit. And so I had to be really careful with that. So we're like, I can't do toe loop combos. Like it's too dangerous for me. So I ended up trying loops after that, which like I had done them a couple of years before that. And so I went back to loops and they've turned out working really well. Like loops much easier for me than a toe loop is. Just it's more natural. So putting it onto the flip loop has been much better for me so far.
And then do you have a least favorite jump? I mean, you said you have problems with the toe loop, but if you didn't have the problems, would it still be your least favorite?
Yeah, it's always just been like, so basically for me, my least favorites are sow cow, toe loop, and axle because I don't like how you have to like switch the axis. Like for me, for some reason, that's like really hard. So I'm like, just let me go up over my right side and stay over my right side. Like it's easier for me. So yeah, just toe loop is my least favorite though, just because it's so much of an axis change.
So you like the difficult jumps and you don't like the easy ones, basically. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
For a while, you were working on the triple axel. Is this something that we still may eventually see, or have you put that aside for now?
No, I've still been working on it. Like it's kind of on and off right now just because it is like in the season. And then like for a little bit, I had some knee problems again, but no, like I do still work on it and I would love to put it, maybe not for this year, but definitely I would like to start incorporating it next year.
And what are some of the craziest combinations that you've been able to pull off in practice when you're just messing around? Have you ever done anything super crazy?
So I have done like flip loop loop. I've done, what was that one? There was like a triple sow cow and then like a hop and you do a double sow cow the other direction. I'm not very good at that one though. I've done like Axel loop, half loop sow. I've done that one. Yeah, just weird little things like that.
Outside of the jumps, do you have a favorite element that you like to do?
I really like bowers and spread eagles a lot because I kind of do like how Jonathan Cassar does like the outside spread eagle to the inside one. So he kind of taught me that. Mine's not nearly as good, but it's really fun to do. So like I'll do that a lot. And then just like kind of like trick stuff like split flips, Russian splits, big stuff like that, yeah.
Outside of skating, we see that you really enjoy photography. How did
Yes.
that interest come about, and what are your favorite things to shoot? I know you like shooting nature, but is there anything else that you like?
Yeah, I don't really know. Like it kind of came about because I think it was like one year I was like at junior nationals or something, and it was in New York, I believe. It was either New York or Lake Placid. I forget which one I got my first camera after, but like I had been taking a lot of pictures on like my uncle's phone. I was like, oh, can I take a picture of this? Can I take a picture of this? So for Christmas, like they got me my own like little digital camera, and that kind of like I found out from that, like I was like, oh, I really like taking pictures. So then like quite a while later, I got a slightly larger camera that worked really well. And I used that for a long time, took a lot of nice pictures on that. And then finally I was like, like photography is something that I think I'd really like to actually like get into and like actually use as possibly like a career at some point. So I ended up getting like a really nice like DSLR camera. I got like lenses and stuff. And then now it's just like kind of therapeutic for me. So it's like, I'll go like hiking and then taking photos. And it's a lot of fun for me to have my camera with me everywhere. I don't know. But yeah, I do really enjoy like nature. I like mountains a lot. Mountains and lakes are probably my favorite things to photograph, especially like if it's like the golden hour and stuff like it's because you take the picture and you like see it and you're like, wow, that is so like I actually captured what I'm seeing on camera. Like this is great.
So you have your goals for this year. Mm-hmm. You want to stay in for 2022.
Yes.
Do you have a plan for the next 4 years, like a step-by-step plan, or is it kind of just, I'm with a new coach, we'll see how this year goes and then progress from that?
Kind of like that, like taking one thing at a time. Like I don't want to get like too far ahead of myself or anything, especially just because there's been so many changes that I've done this year. So it's like, yeah, I just kind of want to take this first year slowly, like use it as an adjustment year and like to figure out exactly what I'm doing and then like plan for the next 3.
Any plans for when the skating stops? I know you said that you potentially look at photography as a career. And
Right.
aside from that, do you think you'll stay involved with skating in some capacity?
I think so. Like I feel like I would like to do like a little bit of coaching. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. I can't see me not being involved in skating. I would like to do some shows, just like, because that just like, I enjoy skating, so it'd be nice to like do some shows, travel a little bit with skating, stuff like that. But yeah, I would like to get into photography eventually. I've also found out that I do really enjoy like the whole coffee shop experience. So I was like, but I want to have a coffee shop at some point. Like, I don't know, like kind of stuff like that, where now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many options. Like, what do I do?
Favorite food?
Oh, geez. Probably pasta. Any kind of pasta.
Favorite TV show or anything that you're watching on Netflix?
Okay, so right now I'm watching like The Haunting of Hill House, and that's really cool, but I'm not done with it yet. And like officially, my favorite show is Stranger Things.
Okay.
Love Stranger Things.
Favorite movie, if you have one?
Ooh, favorite movie: How to Train Your Dragon.
A favorite type of music or favorite bands or artists?
So my favorite type of music, I guess, could be kind of called like alternative rock, alternative punk, or pop rock. I'm not really sure, but like I really like 21 Pilots, Panic at the Disco, Walk the Moon, like stuff like that.
A favorite place that you've traveled, either through competition or for vacation?
So I really love Russia. Like I've only been to Moscow once, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was beautiful. But also like Slovenia is incredible. So those two are kind of tied for me for very different reasons of being beautiful.
Where would you like to go if you could go anywhere that you haven't been yet?
The Hague. Yeah, I've never been to The Hague, and I really want to go because I've heard it's amazing.
If you could be a cartoon character, who would you be?
Whoa. Ooh. Okay. Well, Kim Possible's really cool. I feel like that'd be awesome. Bye, guys. I'm Courtney Hicks. Be sure to watch me at NHK this coming week, and yeah, see you later.